What's up? It's Whitney Bro. Today's video, we're going to be going through my makeup routine. Not that you won't see that in my other videos, because obviously that's the channel that this is. But in this video, I'm going to be discussing each step, why I do it, and what I believe are the benefits of doing it the way that I do it. Ready to check out my routine? Stay tuned. The first step in my routine is always primer. I personally like to use a gripping primer like the e.l.f. Power Grip, what I'm going to be using today, or the Milk Hydro Grip. I do have a new one from Essence called the Jelly Grip. I quite like that one as well. But really anything grippy, because I feel like it holds onto my foundation better and really increases the staying power of my makeup. So I just do 2 pumps and spread it across my skin. And this primer, I find, works better when you pat it on instead of doing rubbing motions like you would with a typical moisturizing primer that's almost acts like a lotion. This one you really want to pat it on because it helps with the grip effect that you want to get from it later. Once primer's applied, we're going to go ahead and in with foundation. I'm using the Complexion Crush from Ulta in the shade Tan. Hold on. Yeah, in the shade Tan Neutral. And I just like to dot it over my skin. This might be a little dark, but... And I like to use a domed buffer brush. I will use others on occasion, but certain foundation formulas work better with certain tools, I've come to learn. And this one works great with this tool. And what I'm doing right now is kind of painting on the color first, and then going in with stippling motions to really blend it out. And I'm doing that because it increases the longevity of your makeup. It's a more thorough way of getting the product out of your brush. My favorite kind of foundations, however, are ones like the About Face or the e.l.f. Halo Glow, where it has that little applicator that comes out. I wish all foundations had that packaging. Like if I was president, I'd be like, mandate all foundations this kind of packaging. A stupid mandate, but at least a non-harmful one. And I like to use a combination of both buffing and stippling motions around my mouth, because I do have fine lines that the product will sit in. So the next step that I do in my routine is concealer. I'm using the Ulta Complexion Crush Concealer, and I'm just going to go in and apply this to the dark points of my under eyes. I like to apply more product below where my eye would crease and then blend the product upward instead of putting a lot of product. I can't talk. I'm also in the shade Tan Neutral for the concealer. I like to let my concealer sit. So while this sits, we're going to go ahead and get into the cream bronzer, which I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills one in the shade Hazelnut. I've been on a cream bronzer kick lately because I got some for Christmas, so. But you just go in with that product and you're going to stipple it onto your forehead. This might be a what not to do, Whitney. And then in order to get more pigment, you stipple Right now I put a little bit too much, so I want to spread it out, so that's why I'm using circular motions. And I just like to keep going in and stamping the product. It really does build nicely on itself, so that is something that I like to keep in mind when I use this product. You'll have it for a while because a little really does go a long way. When it gets a little out of control, go back in with your foundation brush and just stipple across the edges, and that'll get rid of any kind of line that may have accidentally been created. I like to bronze my forehead because I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of have a big forehead. It isn't till I put bronzer on it that you really notice how big it was in comparison to what it looks like now. But I do kind of got a big forehead. Now that the forehead is bronzed, we're going to go in with that same bronzer, same brush, and just gently stipple the bottom of our cheekbone, my cheekbone. And I just like to follow the kind of natural angle of it. You can definitely alter that angle, which will alter your face shape. I just like to emphasize mine. And again, stipple motions for longevity and the blend. A trick I like to do to clean my bronzer up when it gets a little out of hand is I like to go in with my foundation brush and just gently buff right underneath the natural hollows of my cheeks. And it really helps blend that bronzer and kind of keep it where I want it to be kept. For blush, I'm going to go in with the Made by Mitchell blush in the shade A Shy Boy. And this stuff is really pigmented, so I really just like to do, one dot for starters. And then if we need more, we'll add more. But either way, blush is my next step. I could add another one, but I kind of want this to be a natural, everyday type of tutorial. So I'm just going to leave that as is. Just like we could have went more ham with the bronzer, but and we might end up having to add more blush to this one because this one's already looking more pigmented, but I'm going to keep blending. That's the number one rule with anything in makeup, is just to keep blending. You might think you're done blending, blend some more. Now that we have blush and bronzer on, it is time to go ahead and blend that concealer out because it has sat long enough that we're going to get maximum coverage from it. And I use a powder puff because I find that it blends the concealer better, really maintains the coverage, and also just gives a beautiful finish that you really don't get from blending it out other ways. And at this stage, if you do prefer the brightening look, you can use a concealer that's about, if you want a more extreme brightness, you could go 3 to 4 shades lighter. But if you're looking for something a little more subtle, only go 1 to 2 shades lighter. I personally use my exact skin tone because I find it looks better on me. I like it better. I like it better on myself than I do a bright under eye. I just think a bright under eye looks weirdly out of place on me. And I used to be a fan, not a fan anymore. For my brows, I'm just going to go in with the NYX Fill and Fluff in the shade Clear. And it's just this brow wax pencil with a paddle brush on the other end to distribute the product. Because everything else is very natural today, we're going to go and keep it the same way with our eyebrows, where they're still getting product. They'll still be getting styled a little bit, but not so much that it looks out of place with the rest of the style of makeup. So run it through, and then I like to comb that fill-in fluff wax, and it just tames it enough that they're not so out of control as they would be without any product. For the highlighter to go with this look, I'm going to be using the Laura Geller Gilded Honey. That's the shade. Laura Geller Baked Gelato Lace Illuminator in the shade Gilded Honey. I don't think they make these anymore. Sad face. Fantastic highlighter. But I'm just going to take that on a brush and just go ahead and tap it on. I love this one because it really does give that kind of glow from within look and doesn't look like glitter, doesn't look out of place. Highlighter, no highlighter. My skin still looks pretty good. My skin is highlighting itself, but a little extra glow never hurt nobody, you know. And then because I have hooded eyes, this is very easy for me to do. But I put a little on the tip of the brush and then just come over on top of my hood, underneath the brow, and just pull that out. And then I kind of fade it into my cheek highlight so that neither one just ends abruptly, and it's got us looking fresh. I like to take my makeup eraser and wipe off any foundation or product that just got on my lips. That I almost didn't film that. That's part of my routine. So I was like, let me cut this camera back on. Cut this camera on, turn the, you know what I mean. Next up is lips. Obviously, that's why we were talking about them. And I'm going to go in with my trusted combo. They're both LA Girl. I have the LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liner in the shade, in the shade Chocolate. They do make lighter browns, but I prefer this shade of brown on myself. And then their Lip Oil Nourishing Gloss in the shade Sheer Watermelon. I guess it's really more scent because this one doesn't really have a color. Anyway, ideally, if I had a lip balm near me, I would go over my lips with a lip balm because they are a little crusty, but just use the inside of your lip. It'll work in a pinch. So taking that lip liner, I am just gently tracing my top lip, then pressing my lips together to get the start of an outline. You still have to line those areas, but it makes it a little easier because you've kind of already mapped out the thickness of the liner. I like to take my lip liner and almost make a triangle on the outer edge of both my bottom and top lip. And once you're done with that, it's going to be time for your lip oil / gloss, whatever you prefer. This one's kind of a hybrid in between the two. I really just like how it smells, to be honest. But then we're going to take this and we're going to use this to blend the harsh edges. And with that lip complete, that is going to complete the routine. This is my basically everyday go to work. I don't really wear eyeshadow because 9 times out of 10 I don't have time to put on eyeshadow because I am not good at time management. However, I can do an updated version of this where I include eyeshadow, but this one I just wanted to keep it realistic and show my actual start to finish everyday routine. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like my headband. She's our new friend. Got her for Christmas. And thanks, Dad. And they are going to be... I'm going to be wearing headbands in my videos from now on. Why? Because I feel like it. I can use a ponytail holder to hold it back, but, you know, mine as well. Plus, I just think they're really cute. That's most of the reason for me wanting to wear them in my video. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I really do appreciate it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.